In 1974, the average American family fixed almost everything they owned. A dripping faucet, a torn work shirt, a sputtering lawnmower. You handled it, or you learned how. Today we call a professional and hand over $100 for a job that takes 10 minutes. But here is the twist. The skills your grandfather used to save real money were never hard. They were forgotten on purpose. Number 14 on this list can save a family over $2,000 a year, and almost nobody does it anymore. And number 3, whole industries spent decades convincing you that you can't do it because your helplessness is their paycheck. These are 20 poor man's skills that quietly build wealth while everyone else bleeds money. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because what you are about to learn could put thousands back in your pocket this year. Let's count down. Number 20, sharpening your own knives and tools. A dull knife is the quiet tax nobody notices. Most Americans either buy a new $20 blade the moment the old one stops cutting, or they pay $4 an ounce to have a service sharpen it. Your grandfather did neither. He kept a whetstone in a kitchen drawer and a file in the garage, and he ran a blade across it for 90 seconds before dinner. The trick was the angle, about 20 degrees, held steady, drawing the edge toward you like you were slicing a thin layer off the stone. That same skill kept lawnmower blades, garden shears, axes, and scissors working for decades. A $10 sharpening stone lasts a lifetime. Meanwhile, the average household throws out or replaces knives, shears, and mower blades that had years of life left in them. Learn this one skill and you stop buying tools you already own. Between kitchen knives, yard tools, and the sharpening fees you never pay again, that is easily $150 a year, forever, from a rock that costs less than a pizza. Number 19, making your own cleaning products. Walk down the cleaning aisle and you are staring at the biggest markup in the grocery store. That $2 spray bottle of glass cleaner is mostly water, a splash of vinegar, and blue dye. Your grandmother knew this. She cleaned an entire house with white vinegar, baking soda, and a bar of soap, and her windows had no streaks. A gallon of vinegar costs about $3 and replaces glass cleaner, floor cleaner, and half the bathroom shelf. Baking soda scrubs sinks, deodorizes carpets, and unclogs drains. A little dish soap and warm water handles almost everything else. The average family spends between $500 and $800 a year on specialty cleaners, each one marketed for a single surface, so you buy 6 bottles instead of 1. Corporations sell you the idea that your kitchen counter and your bathroom tile need different chemistry. They do not. Mix your own, and you cut that bill by 80%, and your house stops smelling like a chemical plant every Saturday morning. Number 18, basic mending and sewing. There was a time when a missing button meant 5 minutes with a needle, not a trip to the store for a new shirt. Your grandmother could hem pants, patch a knee, and reattach a button before the kettle boiled. The skill is almost embarrassingly simple. Thread a needle, tie a knot, push it through and back a dozen times. That's it. Yet today, a ripped seam or a broken zipper sends a perfectly good $40 pair of jeans straight to the landfill. A basic sewing kit costs about $8 and lasts years. Learn to sew a button, close a seam, and hem a cuff, and you extend the life of nearly every piece of clothing you own. For a family of 4 constantly outgrowing and wearing through clothes, the savings stack up fast. Easily $200 to $500 a year in garments you keep instead of replace. The fashion industry counts on you throwing away anything with a flaw. A needle and thread is quiet rebellion. Number 17, changing your own air filters. This is the one that makes mechanics and HVAC techs smile when you walk in. Your car's engine air filter and your home's furnace filter are 2 of the most overpriced services in America. A shop will charge you $40 to swap a car air filter that costs $12 at the parts store and takes 90 seconds. No tools, just 2 clips and a lid. Your home's HVAC filter is the same story. A clogged furnace filter forces the system to work harder, spiking your energy bill and shortening the life of a unit that costs thousands to replace. Your grandfather changed both on a schedule, marked on a calendar. A 3-pack of furnace filters runs about $20, and you slide it in like a piece of toast. Between the labor you never pay, the gas mileage you protect, and the HVAC repairs you prevent, this single 10-minute habit saves hundreds a year and quietly adds years to your furnace. Number 16. Line drying laundry. Here is where it gets interesting. The clothes dryer is one of the hungriest appliances in your entire house, second only to the water heater and the air conditioner. Every load you tumble dry is quietly spinning your electric meter. Your grandmother hung sheets on a line and draped shirts over a rack, and the son did the work for free. A clothesline costs about $15. A folding drying rack costs $20. Air drying even half your loads cuts a meaningful slice off your power bill, often $100 to $200 a year, depending on your family size and rates. But there is a second saving nobody mentions. Heat is what destroys clothing. That gray lint you clean out of the dryer trap is literally your clothes disintegrating. Air dry them and they last far longer, which means fewer replacements. Your towels stay fluffy, your shirts keep their shape, and your dryer, used half as often, lasts twice as long before it dies. Number 15. Growing a small vegetable garden. During World War II, Americans grew nearly 40% of the country's fresh vegetables in backyard victory gardens. Then the supermarket taught us that food comes from a truck, and we forgot. A single packet of tomato seeds costs about $2 and produces plants that yield 20, 30, 40 pounds of tomatoes across a summer. That same yield at the store runs $60 or more. Add peppers, zucchini, lettuce, herbs, and green beans, and a modest raised bed you build for $50 can return several $100s of produce a season. Fresh herbs alone are a scam at the store. $4 for a plastic clamshell of basil that wilts in 3 days when a $2 plant on your windowsill gives you basil all summer. Your grandparents didn't garden as a hobby. They gardened because the alternative was paying someone else for something the dirt gives away. $10 in seeds, a patch of sun, and a watering can turn into hundreds of dollars of groceries you simply stop buying. Number 14. Cooking from scratch. This is the big one, the skill that quietly separates families who struggle from families who get ahead. The average American household now spends over $3,000 a year on restaurants, takeout, and delivery, and thousands more on pre-made frozen meals and meal kits. Your grandmother fed a family of 6 on a fraction of that, because she knew how to turn a bag of rice, a few pounds of cheap meat, an onion, and some beans into a week of dinners. A pot of chili, a tray of baked chicken and potatoes, a big pot of soup from a leftover carcass. These cost $2 to $3 per serving to make and $12 to $20 to buy. Learn 10 simple, cheap meals you can make in your sleep, and you break the takeout habit that drains most family budgets. There is no single skill on this list that returns more money than this one. Families who cook at home routinely save $2,000 a year or more. That is a vacation, an emergency fund, a car repair, sitting in your kitchen the whole time. Number 13. Basic plumbing repairs. A plumber's minimum charge to walk through your door is often $150 before he touches anything. And most of what you call him for, you can fix yourself. A running toilet, the #1 water waster in American homes, is usually a $5 flapper you swap in 10 minutes. A clogged drain rarely needs a chemical bomb or a service call, just a basic drain snake that costs $15 or a plunger used correctly. A dripping faucet is almost always a 50-cent washer or cartridge. Your grandfather kept a wrench under the sink and knew where the shutoff valve was. Learn those 3 repairs: toilet flapper, clogged drain, faucet washer, and you eliminate the vast majority of plumbing calls a normal household ever makes. A running toilet alone can waste 200 gallons a day, quietly inflating your water bill. Between the water you stop wasting and the service calls you stop making, this handful of 10-minute skills saves the average homeowner several $100s a year. Number 12. Brewing coffee at home. Second pattern break, and this one is going to sting. The daily coffee run is the most socially acceptable money leak in America. $5 a day, every workday is around $1,200 a year, walking out of your wallet one paper cup at a time. Your grandparents would have been horrified. They brewed a pot at home for pennies a cup and never thought twice. A bag of good coffee makes dozens of cups for the price of 2 lattes. A basic drip machine costs $20, a French press even less, and either one makes coffee as good as the shop once you learn the ratio, about 2 tablespoons of grounds per 6 ounces of water. Want the fancy drink? A can of cocoa, a little cinnamon, some frothed milk you shake in a jar, and you've made a $4 cafe mocha for 40 cents. This isn't about giving up coffee. It's about refusing to rent it. Brew at home and keep the $1,200. Number 11. Patching drywall and basic wall repair. Every renter has felt that stomach drop of losing a security deposit over a few nail holes and a doorknob dent. Every homeowner has stared at a cracked wall and imagined a contractor's invoice. But drywall repair is one of the most forgiving skills there is. A small hole needs a $4 tub of spackle, a putty knife, and 2 minutes. A bigger hole needs a $10 patch kit, a little mesh, and some sanding. Your grandfather never called a professional to fix a wall, and neither should you. Learn to fill a hole, feather the edges smooth, and touch up the paint, and you save your deposit. Avoid handyman fees that start at $100 a visit and keep your home looking cared for. A single tub of spackle handles dozens of repairs and costs less than a fast food combo. Corporations and contractors love that you think walls are mysterious. They are chalk and paper. You can absolutely fix them. Number 10. Preserving and freezing food. Americans throw away roughly a third of the food they buy. A third. That is money going straight from your grocery cart into the trash can. Your grandmother didn't waste a crumb because she knew how to make food last. She froze the extra when meat went on sale, blanched summer vegetables to keep for winter, canned tomatoes and jam, and turned wilting produce into soup instead of garbage. These aren't complicated skills. Freezing bread, portioning and freezing meat bought on sale, chopping and freezing vegetables before they turn, and simmering scraps into stock will each save you real money. Buying a family pack of chicken at a discount and freezing it in dinner-sized portions can cut your meat costs in half. A chest freezer pays for itself within a year for most families. Between the bulk deals you can suddenly take advantage of and the food you stop throwing out, mastering preservation easily saves a household $500 a year, often far more. Number 9. Basic car maintenance. Your car is a rolling repair bill if you let the shop handle everything, and a reliable machine if you learn a few basics. Changing your own oil saves around $50 a change and takes 20 minutes with a wrench, a pan, and a $5 filter. Rotating your tires yourself extends their life by thousands of miles, delaying a $900 replacement. Checking and topping off your own fluids, including coolant, washer fluid, and transmission fluid, prevents the catastrophic failures that turn into $1,000 tows and rebuilds. Replacing your own wiper blade saves the $20 installation fee on a part that snaps on in 10 seconds. Swapping a dead battery yourself saves the shop markup and labor. Your grandfather knew his engine because he had to. You don't have to become a mechanic. You just have to learn the 5-minute jobs the shop charges an hour for. Do your own oil, tires, fluids, wipers, and battery, and you'll save between $500 and $1,000 a year and probably keep your car running years longer. Number 8. Negotiating your bills. Here is a skill that costs $0, requires no tools, and most people are simply too afraid to use. Your cable, internet, cell phone, and insurance bills are not fixed prices. They are opening offers. Companies bank on your inertia, quietly raising your rate every year because they know you won't call. Your grandfather would have called. One phone call, 30 minutes, saying the words, "I'm thinking of canceling," or "What can you do to lower this?" routinely knocks $20 to $50 a month off a bill. That's the retention department's whole job, to keep you with a discount they never advertise. Do it across your internet, phone, and insurance. And shop your car insurance every couple of years. and you can easily save $500 to $1,000 a year for a few phone calls. This is money the company was hoping you'd never ask for. All you have to do is ask. The most expensive word in personal finance is the phone call you never make. Number 7. Cutting hair at home. Third pattern break, and this one ADs up faster than anyone expects. A men's haircut runs $20 to $40 every 3 or 4 weeks. For one person, that's $400 to $600 a year. For a family with a couple of kids, well over $1,000 easily. Your grandmother had clippers in a bathroom drawer and cut the whole family's hair on a kitchen chair with a towel around their shoulders. A decent set of clippers costs about $30 once and pays for itself in a single month. Simple cuts, buzzes, trims, and kids' haircuts are genuinely easy to learn from a 10-minute video, and the clippers come with guards that make it nearly foolproof. Even if you still splurge on the occasional professional cut, doing the routine trims at home cuts that expense by 70% or more. Between the haircuts and the beard trims you stop paying for, a $30 tool quietly saves a family hundreds of dollars a year for as long as hair keeps growing. Number 6. Baking your own bread. There is something almost magical about the fact that flour, water, salt, and yeast, ingredients that cost pennies, become a loaf you'd pay $4 or $5 for at the bakery. Your grandmother baked because store bread was a needless expense, and hers tasted better. A 5-pound bag of flour costs a few dollars and makes 6 or more loaves. A packet of yeast is under $1. Do the math, and homemade bread costs roughly 50 cents a loaf, against $4 or $5 at the store. For a family that goes through several loaves a week, that's $300 to $400 a year in bread alone, before you even count the buns, rolls, pizza dough, and tortillas you can make from the same cheap ingredients. Modern, no-knead recipes have made this nearly effortless. Stir it, let it sit overnight, bake it in a pot. The bread industry spent a fortune making you believe baking is hard and time-consuming. It's mostly waiting, and the house smells incredible. Number 5. Basic electrical repairs. The fourth pattern break, and the one people fear most for no good reason. Nobody's asking you to rewire your house, but replacing a light switch, swapping an outlet, installing a ceiling fixture, or changing a dimmer are simple, safe jobs. Once you flip the breaker off, and an electrician charges $100 to $200 just to show up and do them. Your grandfather flipped the breaker, unscrewed 2 wires, screwed in 2 new ones, and was done in 15 minutes. A new outlet or switch costs about $3. A light fixture you install yourself saves the whole labor charge on top of the part. The single rule is simple: kill the power at the breaker and test that it's dead before you touch a wire. Learn that, and you handle a whole category of home repairs that most people needlessly pay a premium for. Over the life of owning a home, doing your own switches, outlets, and fixtures saves thousands. Respect the electricity, cut the power first, and it's genuinely one of the easier skills on this list. Number 4. Painting your own rooms. Hiring a crew to paint a single room can run $500 to $1,000, most of it labor. Painting an entire house? Several thousand. Yet painting is the most beginner-friendly home skill there is. And the difference between an amateur job and a professional one is almost entirely patience, tape, and a good roller. Your grandparents painted their own homes without a second thought. A gallon of paint covers a room and costs around $40. Add a $20 kit of rollers, brushes, tape, and a drop cloth, and you've got everything you need. The secret pros won't tell you is that the prep, taping the trim, filling holes, cleaning the walls, is what makes it look expensive. And it takes no skill at all, just time. Do your own painting, and you save the labor on every room, every color change, every refresh for as long as you own a home. That's easily $2,000 saved on a single house repaint and a freshly painted home that adds real resale value on top. Number 3. Fixing your own appliances. Now here is where whole industries have quietly gotten rich off your helplessness. When a dishwasher won't drain, a dryer won't heat, or a washing machine won't spin, most people assume it's dead and buy a new one for $600 to $1,000. or pay a repair tech $150 just to diagnose it. But the truth the manufacturers don't advertise is that most appliance failures are one cheap, common part. A dryer that won't heat is usually a $15 heating element or thermal fuse. A dishwasher that won't drain is often a clogged pump or a $10 valve. A washer that won't spin is frequently a $20 belt or lid switch. Every one of these has a repair video online walking you through it step by step, and the part ships to your door for a fraction of a service call. Your grandfather took the back off the machine and looked before he ever gave up on it. Learn to diagnose and swap these common parts, and you routinely save hundreds per repair and thousands over the years by fixing appliances everyone else throws away. Number 2, buying in bulk and meal planning. This is two skills braided into one, and together they attack the single biggest chunk of most family budgets, the grocery bill. Impulse shopping, buying full-price convenience food, and letting produce rot in the drawer quietly drain thousands from American households every year. Your grandmother shopped with a list, planned the week's meals around what was on sale, and bought staples in bulk when the price was right. Buying rice, beans, oats, flour, and freezer meat in bulk cuts the per-unit cost dramatically. Planning meals for the week means you buy only what you'll actually use, and you use what you buy. Building meals around the sales flyer instead of cravings can cut a grocery bill by a third. A family spending $1,200 a month on food can realistically knock $200 to $400 a month off with nothing but a list and a plan. That's up to $4,000 a year, saved not by eating less, but by refusing to shop like the store wants you to. And finally, number 1, general handiness and the refusal to be helpless. The single most valuable skill of all isn't a technique, it's a mindset, and it's the one your grandparents had that we lost. It's the instinct to look at a broken thing and ask, "Can I fix this myself?" before reaching for the phone or the credit card. Every skill on this list flows from it. The person who believes they can figure it out watches the video, borrows the tool, tries the repair, and saves the money. The person who believes they're helpless calls a professional and pays the premium every single time for a lifetime. This is the difference that quietly compounds into tens of thousands of dollars over the years. Your grandfather wasn't smarter than you. He didn't have the internet, a video for every repair, a part shipped overnight to his door. He just refused to believe that fixing things was someone else's job. In a world engineered to make you pay for your own helplessness, the willingness to try is the most profitable skill you will ever own. The tools have never been more available. The only thing standing between you and thousands of dollars a year is the decision to learn. So here's my challenge. Pick one skill from this list this week. Just one. Change your own oil, cut the kids' hair, call the cable company and ask for a lower rate. Bake a single loaf of bread. Then come back and tell me in the comments how much you saved, because I promise you it's more than you think. Your grandparents knew these skills weren't hard. They just knew that every dollar you don't hand to someone else is a dollar that stays in your family. They knew. Now you know too.